everyone, welcome to The Exchange. I'm Rebecca Saran, and David is enjoying a week off. And
no, I'm David. I've had a lot of plastic surgery over the weekend. I'm back.
We are welcoming Bill Boggs to the program.
Hi, everybody.
For most of the week, right?
Yeah, I'll be here today, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Good to have you
Yeah, it's nice
here.
to see everybody. Happy to be here.
And you're a familiar face to people who watch midday television just about any time of the day. I mean, you've been working in this industry for a long time.
Working a radio show up here. I live here in Fairfield County. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you here.
Well, and I just want you, I want everybody in the staff to know that I will do whatever it takes this week to host a show.
We're going to hold you to that.
No, even though doing a talk show these days, there are a lot of risks and dangers involved with doing a talk show these days.
Well,
but I'll do whatever it takes.
All right, all right. Now, you've done this for years and years and years. It's
different now, though. It's different now than it used to be.
All right, so then what would you find the differences to be compared to yesterday?
Well, one risk would be you could be interviewing two 500-pound people about their sex life, and one could fall on you.
Yes,
that's a risk.
That's a risk.
Or you could have to do a segment with the Chippendales and get that, body grease all over your tie.
I think that might have happened here.
Or somebody could declare they're going to be running for president, and you could change the whole course of history. That's a risk. It happened to Larry King.
That's right.
But then he quit.
Did you see that? I watched that. That really surprised me. You were talking about Ross Perot Saturday night. And he really kind of threw a curveball. Yeah, I might do it. I might reconsider this. But then he backed off on what he said.
But but I feel sorry for the backers of Ross Perot.
Yeah, he's really playing with them.
But all the people I know a lot of people who like Ross Perot, they all are also Star Trek fans. So maybe they could all get together and organize a giant Star Trek convention, and they'd have something to do then, instead of following Ross.
I don't know who would offend the Ross Perot people or the Trekkies. I don't know.
They have to do something.
Well, on today's program, on a far more serious note, we're going to have Gloria Steinem, an interview with Gloria Steinem that I did last week. She was speaking before the Jewish organization out of mid-Fairfield County, the community center, and she did a speech, quite an interesting one, and much of it was revolving around her new book, Revolution from Within is the name of it. And we had an interesting conversation, something different from Gloria Steinem this time. She is talking about self-esteem and the importance of it. And we are so used to her talking about the women's movement and how it must advance. It's a very important book. Yeah, it is important. But I think it was an important book for her, too, personally, and we'll talk with her.
We also have I would say it's not equally important in the publishing world, but we do have a man named Pete Fogel who, together with a partner, publishes a magazine called Metal Leg. You've heard of it, right? No? Well, this is a magazine devoted entirely to people who love Steely Dan. Why is this man doing it? We will find out that.
I don't know. I mean, Steely Dan, you're going back quite a ways with Steely Dan.
Into the 70s.
70s. I mean, I remember Steely Dan for being
predates
cool.
Midday Steely Dan. It's a long time ago.
Also, a new novel has come out, Colony. Ann Rivers Siddons has written this one, and this is all about women bucking the rules. Back to Gloria Steinem, women that are expected to stay home and raise their children, which is an important job.
And Southern women, too. We can talk about Tipper Gore and Hillary Clinton and their roles.
And the differences between the two of them.
Big differences. One raised 4 children and stayed home. The other, one child and has a big career.
Is an attorney. So anyway, we'll talk with her about that.
Right. Now, we also have Ira Flato. You know Ira Flato from National Public Radio? He's got a book called They All Laughed. And this is a book about inventions, and I want to find out who invented artificial turf. I can't stand that stuff.
Why are you playing ball in artificial turf these days?
I hate artificial turf. You go to a baseball stadium or a football stadium, you want to see a game, and they're running around on the carpet.
Well,
and they get hurt. I can't stand this
stuff. It must hurt when they fall, though, because that's like falling on asphalt.
It's like falling on the studio.
It is.
I'll fall if you want. See, I'll take any risk.
No, I know you said you're here to serve, but we're not going to push you that far.
I'm here to serve, folks.
Also, we have Brian Averna from Brian Averna Catering. He has just received some accolades from the Advocate, the Fairfield County Advocate, and he's one of the top caterers in our area. He's going to cook a salmon recipe today.
I like salmon. I eat a lot of salmon.
You said you eat it every day. I don't believe you.
Oh, no. Did I say every day? I have it, I would say 4 or 5 days a week. Salmon.
Really?
Cold poached salmon. Yeah,
Do you eat just fish?
No.
No. Okay.
Cereal, grains.
Oh.
I go grazing in fields. Yeah, and I eat a lot of different things. I host a show on food. I eat everything.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later in the show. But first, we're continuing with our the celebration of the Olympics, which is coming up, and we are giving away today for the triple cast, that is the red channel, the white channel, the blue channel, a free day of the triple cast, a mug, and a t-shirt, but you have to answer the question correctly. Now, this is easier today.
Oh, it's an easier question.
Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, the question is, after Jesse Owens won all those gold medals in 1936 Olympics, right? True or false, there was a ticker tape parade for Jesse Owens after he won those down Broadway. True or false?
So you've got a 50-50 chance today, so give it a shot.
Not too difficult. Yeah, roll the dice.
Right. And if you do win that, you'll win a t-shirt, a mug, and a day of the pay-per-view. So now it's time for the news, and we have Tom Appleby. He is standing by with that. Tom?
Thank you, Becky, and good afternoon, everyone. Fairfield police say they have a suspect in this weekend's murder and mutilation of a 45-year-old man. The unidentified victim was discovered by firefighters inside a burning house on Pioneer Lane. Police say the victim had been shot several times, stabbed, and his right ring finger had been cut off. Detectives believe robbery was the motive in the killing. They have not yet released the name of the suspect. Bridgeport police are preparing an arrest warrant in the murder of a 4-month-old infant. Doctors say the baby appears to have been violently shaken before it died at the hospital on Saturday. The infant's mother, Daisy DeJesus, was out of the house and had left the baby in someone else's care. This marks the 39th murder in Bridgeport this year. Connecticut Republicans have endorsed Stamford State Representative Christopher Burnham in his bid for the United States Senate. Burnham defeated Greenwich millionaire Brooke Johnson at the state GOP convention in Hartford on Saturday. Burnham received 62% of the delegates' votes, while Johnson got 38%. Johnson's total is enough to force a primary between the two men in September. Both men are trying to unseat Democratic incumbent Christopher Dodd. And a young Venezuelan girl had her hopes realized at Milford Hospital this morning. 15-year-old Miriam Leon arrived early for a jaw operation which will enable her to speak and eat without difficulty. Leon was discovered in her native Venezuela by Dr. David Topazian, who left Milford 4 years ago to become a missionary. Topazian contacted his former colleagues in Milford, and they agreed to do the operation for free. Now let's take a look at the weather. This afternoon it will be hazy and humid. Highs 85 to 90. Tonight, partly cloudy, muggy, a low around 70 degrees. And tomorrow it should be partly sunny, chance of showers, highs 78 to 83. That's what's happening. We'll have more for you tonight on News 12. Now back to Becky and Bill.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, we are still looking for a winner because I know I forgot to give out the telephone number, but it's 849-1313 between 12 and 1 o'clock. And the question having to do with Jesse Owens when he returned for the 1936 Olympics. Won all those medals. Was he received with the ticker tape parade?
Yeah, was there a ticker tape parade? Mark Spitz didn't.
True or false? No.
No, he didn't. He had a lot of medals.
He sure did. And he was going to go for it again. And I guess he has renewed.
There was one little problem. He couldn't swim fast enough. Other than
it's
that,
called aging.
He would have been just fine, but he couldn't quite make the team.
Couldn't do it. Well, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back. Let's see. No, okay. We're going to come back with an interview with Gloria Steinem in just a minute.
Arise Futon, technology in the hands of traditional craftsmen. Innovative, functional furniture that fits into your home's decor beautifully. Stylish simplicity allows for both ease and speed in converting to a bed or sofa. Versatility in a variety of fashions at prices as comfortable as our fit. See the furniture of tomorrow today at Arise Futon.
See our fine furniture at 3 convenient locations: Orange, Danbury, and Mount Kisco. Arise Futon. Convert today.
Continental Motors Saab Jeep Eagle has been in Stamford for over 25 years. And for over 25 years, our philosophy has been very straightforward. We take pride in our Saabs, our Jeeps, and our Eagles because we know they're good products. And we take pride in our sales and service staff because we give you our best. We make it our business to make an extra effort for our customers. We're good, and we're competitive when it comes to price. That's what makes Continental Motors Saab Jeep Eagle of Stamford an extraordinary dealership. Stop in and see for yourself.
We all needed a place to retune our minds and bodies for a long weekend or for weeks on end. That place is Saybrook Point Inn, where your tensions gently ripple away by the sea. Relax in our beautifully appointed rooms or suites. Dine on exquisite cuisine served with a soothing view. Or enjoy one day of indulgence at our spa. Pamper yourself, rejuvenate yourself for one day and a surprisingly affordable price. Come to Saybrook Point Inn. We're a world apart right here in Old Saybrook, Connecticut.
It took 150 years to gain for women of all races and for black men in this society a legal and social identity as human beings.
Her name is Gloria Steinem. She is one of America's best-known feminists who has been a leader in the nation's social revolution against gender and racial barriers. For 9 years, Gloria Steinem has been named one of the 25 most influential women in America by the World Almanac. She is a respected journalist, best-selling author, and founder and board member of many women's organizations. Her latest book, Revolution from Within, is a book about the importance of self-esteem. Last week, I met with Gloria, and I asked her about the importance of self-esteem as it relates to the women's movement?
What the feminist movement came from was women telling the truth about their lives, telling the internal truth. And then they would say this unsayable thing, and 12 other women would say, "You feel like that?" I thought only I felt like that. In fact, everything has come from that. The whole reproductive rights movement came from women telling the truth about abortion and about how they really felt as opposed to how they were supposed to feel. I just think that in the last dozen years or so, we've got away from that because there have been so many external battles that we ended up neglecting ourselves, really, and not exploring inward as much as we were exploring outward. We need to do both.
You were very honest in the book about yourself, and you write that you had a problem with self-esteem, and we think of Gloria Steinem as the ardent activist, the lecturer, the very successful businesswoman, and we ask ourselves, and when we turn to you and we say, you have a problem with self-esteem?
Well, the more, I don't know how successful I am or I'm not, but the point is that the more people think you are, you don't have it, the more important it is to say that you have damaged self-esteem, because it's impossible to grow up in a patriarchy as a female human being and have self-esteem. How can you? The whole world is centered on men. You require adjectives. You know, you're not a newscaster, you're a female newscaster. You know, you're not a doctor, you're a black doctor. You know, I mean, the race and sex systems are so deep that we can't feel centered in ourselves. And if we have had problems in our families where we weren't fully supported or were even abused or whatever degree of problem we had, then it may go even deeper. So it's doubly important to say, because otherwise, as long as self-esteem is regarded as a personal problem, then women will blame themselves instead of saying, wait a minute, you know, of course I have this problem, so does everybody else to varying degrees, so let's get together and change society to support us.
We all think of our childhoods as the place where you develop the healthy sense of self-esteem, and you're very honest about your childhood. What was it that negatively affected your self-esteem?
Well, there was a lot that had a positive effect. I mean, one of them, I had very loving parents. My father was a very nurturing person who looked after me more than my mother, so I realized that men could be loving and nurturing too. I didn't go to school a full year till I was about, I think, in the 6th grade, which was very lucky because I missed a lot of brainwashing, you know, so. But on the other hand, I also was still absorbing the messages of society that girls, you know, were not as important as boys. And when I got to be a teenager, that message got to be very heavy, you know, because then you're supposed to have a boyfriend and you're supposed to listen to him, be a good listener, don't talk, you know, find the right husband, you know, all of those things that come upon us. Because I also looked after my mother, she was an invalid a lot of the time, I don't think I quite, I don't know, I didn't think I was, because I didn't receive the usual amount of attention from her, I didn't think I was as real as other people, you know. So I made myself real in a very traditional way that women do, which is to be of service, to be of use to other people.
Is that how it manifested itself in your adulthood? You know, I was reading about you, and you state that you would wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats, worried about blowing this lecture or missing that appointment or not doing things right at Ms. Magazine.
Mm-hmm. I felt everything was my responsibility because I'd grown up as a super responsible child, and also because, I mean, which happens to lots of people, the children of alcoholics often feel this way, you know. And also because since I didn't think I was as real as other people and had to make myself real by being useful, then nothing could ever be quite enough, because you have to, that feeling of reality comes from being centered in yourself and realizing that you're real and worthwhile as you are.
But much of what you write about, these are things that men can take to heart as well. And are we at a crossroads with feminism that it's time that we begin to embrace men, to bring them and make them part of the movement?
Well, we've always, I think actually we've always incorporated men probably too much. I mean, because we're so dependent on men's approval that we're always kind of trying to involve them, fix them, get them, control them, make them better, you know. And it's healthier for us and for them if we change ourselves and are honest with them, and then they can figure out how to change. But we can't fix men. Only they can do that.
But many men perceive feminism as a group that just strictly does the male bashing and hates men. How do we get beyond this?
I think that's guilt talking, you know, because what they're saying in their hearts is, my God, suppose they do to us what we've been doing to them.
All right, speaking of that, let's turn to the political arena. And we've heard so much about this being the year of the woman, and more women going for the Senate seats, more and more women going for the seats in Congress. But at the same time, there's this contradiction. We have Hillary Clinton being told to hold back. Don't be so bold in expressing your views. What's your reaction to this?
The difference is that the women candidates for the Senate and the House are going out and getting votes on their own, whereas Hillary Clinton is being forced to listen to ridiculous political advice. The truth is that she would get more votes by being herself than by pretending to be somebody else.
But she still is listening.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's what happens when you're the wife of the candidate instead of the candidate yourself. You know, you start listening to derived advice instead of going directly to the public.
You've been part of the women's movement now. It's 2 decades have gone by. We're getting into the 3rd decade now, and I'm curious what you think. What are your expectations of women and their role in the world? But I guess let's be more specific and turn to the United States.
Well, that's still very big. First of all, women don't have a role. There is no such thing as a woman's role.
We haven't made any progress?
No, I'm just saying we shouldn't have a role. We've made progress in getting rid of a role. Mm-hmm. Women are humans. They should be able to do anything that humans do and anything they're talented and want to do, and they're unique people, first of all. We don't ask about men's role. You know, and the reason we don't is because we don't limit them, you know, to one role. So the point is to focus on the unique self. I mean, in each of us, male and female, whether we're male or female or not is rather minor. Human is the big thing, you know, and that is composed of a billion things that can never be replicated again in you. You know, your parentage and all the millennia that went into the genes in you, all the unique environmental influences that you had. You are a totally unique person. So the question is figuring out what you can uniquely do and what this person in here needs to grow and develop. And you can tell that. You can tell what gives you joy. You can tell what makes you feel like you're living entirely in the moment. You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're thinking about right now. And follow those signals.
The Olympic Games are coming up, and we have an hour-long special on the world at play tomorrow on The Exchange.
Well, after my accident, I wasn't sure whether I'd be eligible for Social Security benefits. But I filed the initial application anyway, and then I realized I was in over my head.
You may be entitled to a substantial settlement. Binder & Binder has successfully handled thousands of Social Security cases.
I thought it was too late to obtain a lawyer.
Binder & Binder can handle your case at any phase of the administrative process.
I'm Charles Binder. There's no fee unless we win your case.
They won my case, and I never could have done it alone.
Why shop at Buongiorno?
I come because the fruit and vegetables are good.
You're in quickly, out quickly, and everybody in the place takes care of you.
They have a good fast checkout.
It's a nice place to shop, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays. They have good bargains.
The meats and, of course, the dairy, everything is always fresh, and the prices are unbeatable.
So come to Buongiorno in Stamford, where it's always a good day.
We want to tell viewers who don't know what Warehouse Outlets is. Because we're 4 stores deep, and you can select from in-stock furniture that would fill a 40,000-foot showroom. Or we'll spend the time with the customer who wants to special order a different fabric, frame, or finish. Warehouse Outlets Furniture and Carpet has successfully guaranteed everyday low prices for over 15 years, before it was fashionable. We're dedicated furniture and carpet specialists, proud of our record of service and savings, and it shows. Shop Warehouse Outlets in Bridgeport, Milford, Stamford, and Brantford.
Hi, Bill Boggs. You know what a harmonic telegrapher is? Well, you're going to find out in this segment. You use one every day, I guess. With us right now is Ira Flato. He is host of his own talk show on radio every Friday about science, and he's written a book called They All Laughed. And I like the premise here. The premise is that many of the greatest inventions, things that have really changed our lives, are things that were invented by accident. Nice to have you with us, Ira.
Nice to be here.
Yes, it's good. Let's actually, I said before about artificial turf, and we can get to that a little bit later. But some of the things like the harmonic telegraph was really what?
The telephone.
And how did the telephone get invented by accident, Ira?
Well, Alexander Graham Bell first set out to invent a method of sending lots of telegraph signals over one wire. Because that's what would be very saleable to businesses to have. And there are lots of wires. Every time you had one telegraph, you needed one wire. So the streets of New York and places like that, they were black. The telephone poles are covered with wires.
And between that and the horses that were running around, it wasn't that pleasant.
So on the way, he discovered, coming from a family that really liked voice, his father was a voice teacher and an expert, he said, why not send voice over wire and invent something called the telephone? But his backers wouldn't let him do it. The people who were giving him money to develop it said, this is just a toy. Who's going to want to talk on the telephone?
You're wasting our money.
They said, and they forbid him to do it. They said, you do it, your history. So he sort of worked on it in secret with Watson. He developed it, and then when it was invented, he offered it to Western Union. He said, I'll give you this invention for $100,000. And Western Union could have become Ma Bell, but they said, who's going to need this? Why would anybody want this?
It's impossible to think that people wouldn't know, that everybody would love to talk on the phone.
And
like
you know,
that.
years later, they tried to buy it from him for $25 million, and he said no.
He didn't sell it.
He said, you had your chance. I offered it to you when I was a nobody, and now that everybody realizes how good it is, you laughed at me then, but who's laughing now? And that sort of thing.
What would be another, and also the title, They All Laughed, comes from the Gershwin song, They All Laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round.
You got it, exactly.
But what's another example of something that we use every day that somebody invented? The microwave.
The microwave oven is a good case. The microwave oven was invented by accident by a gentleman who was an expert in radar. It came out of the labs of World War II in radar. And following the war, this gentleman was walking past one of these operating radar devices in his laboratory, and he had a candy bar in his pocket. And he noticed that as he goes by, the candy bar is melting in his pocket. And he can't figure it out.
Not to mention what it's doing to the inside of him.
Now, if this happened to you, if this happened to you, you'd say, well, I guess my lab coat is a little warm, it's hot inside here, but not this guy. This guy is too smart. He says, what's going on here is something we can't explain. Let's send out for popcorn. So he takes a bag of unpopped popcorn like we have now, like for the radar microwave oven, and he holds it in front of the radar. And it starts popping too, and he sends out for pork chops, and all kinds of food comes in, and he starts putting it in front of the radar. And he goes to tell his superiors, and they're sort of laughing at him, saying, what are you talking about? This can't work with food. But then he has a demonstration in the boardroom of Raytheon, which is the company he was working for, and he puts this egg in front of the radar, and you all know that if you put an egg in a microwave, it's going to blow up.
Right.
So he found this out by accident when he stuck his face. He did, and it blew up in the boardroom, and they were convinced that something like this could work.
You know, I'll tell you a funny thing that happened to me yesterday. I had one of those mad urges for lobster you get every once in a while. And on the show I do, we were talking that you can actually, the best way to cook a lobster, allegedly, is in a microwave oven, which I didn't know. I tried it yesterday.
It works. Explode?
No, it works.
All right, I'm going to bring something up that you probably had to put it in live then, right?
Well, no, what you do is, you take the lobster and you put the lobster in the freezer first. And that kills all of its senses. Well, if you cook a live lobster, one way or the other, you're going to kill it, right?
Yeah.
So you freeze it, then you put it in a bag in the microwave oven so you don't see it flailing around like that. There's only one problem.
What's that?
Right, my microwave oven is down in the basement, it's in the dark, and we didn't have it in long enough. So we open the thing and look in and open the bag, and the lobster is there going, not pleasant. But it is, according to chefs, the best way to cook a lobster is a microwave.
You remind me of a story in my book, which was a titanic battle between Edison and Westinghouse to electrify New York City. Edison had invested in direct current, and Westinghouse knew that alternating current was the way to go. So to show how bad alternating current was, Westinghouse gave every kid in West Orange, New Jersey, Edison gave every kid in West Orange, New Jersey 25 cents for his pet cat or his dog. He then zapped all the animals in West Orange, New Jersey, killed all the pets, electrocuted them with the alternating current to show how bad this would be to have around the house. Look what could happen to your animals.
This is deteriorating.
This guy did not care about PR.
Well,
he wanted to do a lot for your image.
Well, then when the state of New York was, this is at the turn of the century, he's trying to think of a way of humanely executing people. Out comes Edison and he says, why don't we use this alternating current? So the state says, well, we see that it works on little animals like dogs, but what about something the size of a human? So they pull out these 1,200-pound horses, these calves, these cows, and they start electrocuting all these animals.
Wait a second, where was the ASPCA?
They couldn't, in some of these, they didn't get there, and they would hear about it, but they couldn't get there in time to stop the electrocutions. As one newspaper writer wrote about it, you know, after they zapped this baby cow, they said in a while it was veal. You know, there was nothing there but a dead animal.
All right, let's change the subject entirely here. Let's talk about the fax machine. We all use it every day if we're in an office environment.
Now we do, yeah.
Now, if I asked you how old the fax machine was, what would you say?
I would say 10 years.
10 years, 20
years.
The dawn in the 1980, nobody had a fax machine.
150 years old. The first fax line was set up between Paris and Lyon from 1865 to 1870. An Italian priest named Caselli, who was one of these guys who they all thought he was a little crazy because he had these little objects of technology around us. He came up with the first working fax machine, and it didn't work like it does today. It worked with a couple of swinging pendulums. On the sending side, you wrote your fax, you put it on this device, a stylus would swing back and forth like a pendulum. It would trace out what you were doing up and down. On the receiving end was another pendulum, synchronized, so they'd swing together and it would write the fax. And I found, I think, what is the first fax cover sheet written in Chinese, in which I didn't know what it was. I sent it to the Asia Society to be, interpreted. And they said, look, it's a cover sheet. It says, to Emperor of China on it from so-and-so. Be ready for this fax.
You know how to make science interesting. That's a wonderful thing. But you don't know who invented artificial turf.
I don't know.
Let's get that person and make them play on it. Anyway, thank you very much, Ira. The book is called They All Left.
Thanks, Ira.
There it is right now. It's a good book, and we'll return right after this.
I'm Ahmad Rashad with important news about the Olympics. Now, if you love basketball, there's only one way to see every U.S. Olympic basketball game in its entirety, live without commercials. The Olympics Triplecast.
In addition to NBC's coverage, you can order 3 channels of your favorite Olympic events 24 hours a day, including all the games with the greatest basketball team ever assembled.
Join me for the Olympics Triplecast. Call this number to order. It's an Olympic basketball lover's dream.
He's the Robin Hood of the art world.
What?
Out to redistribute the wealth.
The free antique valuation scam.
An expert at running a con.
Late Regency. Very late. Should have been done this week.
Or ruining one.
Well, as Nelson said, it's got to have an eye for it.
Who knows if something's real, fake, or framed.
Why would the police have been here?
Because they're after you. But it's usually Lovejoy who cracks the case. Lovejoy, a true original. Mondays on A&E.
When others ask you to do drugs, what do you say to them?
I ignore them. I'd rather stick anchovies in my ears. No way. I respect my body, man.
I don't want to look and feel like this.
Take a chill pill.
Local hero Scott Sharp, an inveterate speeder, drops by for a visit. Join us Wednesday.
Well, we've been hit with the 90s, and that means we're all heading off to the pool, the beach, and we need those fun little pool toys that you can float around and have a great time with. Linda Scott joins us, as we've just seen, and she has brought with her all kinds of ideas. Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
All right,
Not
Bill.
to mention people.
And people,
Small
too.
people
We'll get
are
to
here
them
with
in a
us
minute.
today.
They're working hard over there.
Great to be with you, too.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you
what do you
very
have
much.
today? You have all kinds of fun things.
Lots of fun things to keep cool and have fun at the water, the pool, the beach, the backyard even. First
Let me
of
bring
all,
some things forward
okay,
for you.
First of all, for the beach, let's maybe
Go over there to these
little
guys?
kids. Yes. We have, in addition to pails and buckets that we've always had, for our guys, we have a sand workshop, and he's got a mold to make sand bricks, he's got a drill, he's got hammers, he's got a toolbox to carry it all in. And Allison, our little redhead, has what's called a sand works, and she pours the sand in the top, and it flips and flops and twists and turns and comes out and does all kinds of fun things on the way down. And Ashley, our little blonde, is playing with the sand kitchen.
Oh, that's
with a mixer
cute.
and molds to make sand cupcakes and a sifter. All types of little things for girls.
You know, there's going to be a
also.
sandcastle building contest in Greenwich this Saturday,
So bring
we
your
might
little
want
brick builder.
to press those into action.
Absolutely, you sure could.
Recruit some help.
Now, if you can't go to the beach and you can't go to the pool or whatever, you can also have fun right in your own backyard with the water hose and sprinkler, of course. Here we have Wilbur the water pup.
Who is Wilbur the water
Wilbur
pup?
the water pup is a cute little black and white dog. You hook him up to the water hose. He has a big red collar around his neck. The water comes flying out of the collar, and when it does, his ears flop up and down. And he has a big yellow bone, and the water squirts out of the bone, too. So fun for the little guys running around. Also out in the yard, there's a splash and, oh, thanks.
There's a couple
big
things
wave.
back here, kind of interesting.
Oh, that's a
Anytime
water
I see
tunnel.
big wave water tunnel,
Yeah,
I'm
you know,
going to
like
crawl right in.
Kind of like the water slide, only it's a tunnel,
Right.
and the sprinkler can be next to it, and they can pop up through it and everything. And then this is, you know,
Splash and score.
they have basketball, you know, for adults and volleyball in the pool, you know,
Oh,
water.
this is cute.
This is for kids. This is like an inflatable backboard, and you inflate it, put it out beside the kiddie pool or at the shallow end of the big pool, and it has a basketball backstop. It has a baseball mitt that catches a ball, and it has a ring toss, so they can play games in the water too. So those types of things.
Did you say this inflates with air or water?
Yeah, with air.
With air, because some of them you put the hose in and you inflate them with
Yeah,
water
no, this
too.
is with air. You just stand it up, you know.
Becky, did you ever get one of your children to ask you to inflate something?
Well,
you know?
that's why I always ask about these things.
You end up looking like
I'm always the one that ends
Dizzy
up inflating.
Gillespie for the rest of the weekend.
And feeling like it too.
Then we also have over there, kids, can you hold up the rings?
Oh, I'm confused.
They look
Here
kind
we
of like
go.
hula hoops, but these are for the water also.
These are fun.
You fill them with sand, and
sand.
They are hula
and
hoops.
You throw them in
in
the
a
water.
way.
They go right down to the bottom of the pool. Actually, can you hand them that little box that shows? And you can make your own swimming slide course.
There you go. You guys
underwater.
have it. Give it a try, Scotty. I know, it's kind of a hard
I
concept.
never could do that.
And some of the things you have, Becky, there in your
Yes,
hand
what
are
do I
more
have?
toys for diving in the water. This is a baseball, it's called wet catch, and it's a mitt and a ball with suction cups, and of course you get it wet, and then the ball, of course, sticks right on the mitt.
That's
right in
fun.
the water.
All right, what else
Then
do we have? This is
rings
clever.
to throw in. They can play all kinds of diving games,
Yeah,
you know,
kids
who
love to
gets
do
the
that.
most and the
Oh, there are
this amount of
points on them,
time
so
or whatever,
depending on-
And then pearls that also you can dive for. They look like clamshells, and they're weighted, and they sink right to the bottom, and you can have lots of fun.
And they have
playing
little
around
pearls,
with
actually do have little pearls inside them, don't they? Is that what it said?
Six
yeah, they
pearls,
contain
yeah, pearls
black
inside.
pearl.
And one black pearl.
Oh, I see. So you can
prize.
determine whether you're going to be the winner. Well, you've got all kinds of fun things. You even have a floating bar. You have a little floating
bar,
turtle.
for your little guy. Look.
Put my little guy in here and set him
Little
afloat.
throat. You wouldn't want to leave him, you know, unattended in
No.
it, but you can certainly put him in down in the little baby seat.
That looks pretty safe.
Sure.
And then a floating bar. Heaven forbid we should be in the water and not have
Beverages.
refreshments, right? Oh, thanks, Bill.
Linda, these are fun ideas, and we still have a good 6 weeks at least left of the warm weather, so these are some good ideas
lots
for you.
of fun folks, too.
Look at the
Nothing
big
in them.
inflatables. Linda, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, too.
Coming by. We're going to be back with you in a minute.
I'm Gail Gardner with an important Olympic announcement. If you love gymnastics, there's only one way to see every U.S. Olympic team meet live with no commercials. That's the Olympics Triple Cast.
In addition to NBC's coverage, you can order 3 channels of your favorite Olympic events 24 hours a day, including an unprecedented 33 hours of Olympic gymnastics from the early rounds to the finals. To order the Olympics Triple Cast, call this number.
It's an Olympic gymnastic lover's dream.
Everyone with a phone is a prospect for phone fraud. Con artists using the telephone swindle investors out of $1 million every hour. When solicited by telephone to make an investment, just hang up.
Protect yourself against investment fraud. Investigate before you invest. Fight fraud, Connecticut. Call the Connecticut Department of Banking, Securities Division.
Hey man, welcome to Club Pay-Per-View, where the benefits are plentiful and the entertainment is now on 2 channels of Request TV. By becoming a member of Cablevision's Pay-Per-View Club, you'll save 50% on the latest Hollywood hits, get discounts on select live events, and receive a weekly subscription to Total Magazine. All this, plus the convenience of our time control programming converter. So call us now, man, and save $30 when you join us at Club Pay-Per-View.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Bill Boggs, and with us right now is something happened to this fellow when he was 15 years old. It involved listening to a record called Bad Sneakers by Steely Dan. His name is Dan Fogel. He's sitting here with us right now. Dan Fogel publishes publishes a magazine called Metal Leg. There's a magazine. This is specifically for Steely Dan fans. Only about 1,200 people subscribe to this.
That's right.
So, with all due respect, what happened when you were 15 years old?
I was over with friends, and we were indulging in some intoxicants, as you would say it, and we heard Bad Sneakers, and I felt reborn. I never heard
But
music
you were only
like this.
15. You felt reborn at 15.
I know. Well, I was going through a lot at the time, but I heard the music, and it was wonderful, and I just said, this is something that I want to pursue in my life and, you know, try to do something with the band. With their music, and I didn't know how I was going to do it, and the magazine has been a way for me to get in.
Usually this happens with the Grateful Dead.
Well, it can happen, you know. Last summer I interviewed a woman who had seen Engelbert Humperdinck 387 times.
Yeah.
It can happen with any kind of an artist, but what is your personal relationship with? First, no, let me ask you this question. For somebody right now who might think Steely Dan is a guy in the pro bowling tour, who and what Steely Dan?
Well, Steely Dan was made up of 2 guys named Donald Fagen and Walter Becker, and they started making records in 1972. And probably this country's most respected writers that this country's ever seen. And they stopped performing in 1974. And they're just now going on the road this summer with the New York Rock and Soul Review.
Are they really?
Yes, they are.
It's been a long time.
It's going out. They're going out. Yeah.
Pete, this is what I want to, you know, because people devote their lives to a lot of different things, and you're devoting a portion of your life to what is there about these 2 men who comprise, are they personal friends of yours at this point?
No, actually, no.
You don't even have much
I don't
dealing
have much
with
contact with them, though Donald does recognize, you know, the magazine. It doesn't give us much help in it. But I just, you know, want to spread the gospel to all their fans, and it's going on very well. A lot of our subscribers are musicians and recording studio owners. And the letters I get are fantastic by
Weren't
professional
they mostly
people.
a studio group? I mean, they really didn't go out very often.
Well, that's one of the things about the magazine. We do put all those myths to rest.
So they did go out on the road.
They did tour. They did 90 shows in 1974.
Okay.
And in our magazine, we review a lot of the concerts, and we talk a lot about their shows.
Pete, what's your fantasy with Steely Dan? If I say create any situation where you're involved with those guys, what would it be?
Probably to make a full-time living out of working with them in publicity or managing or something, just to get a check every week knowing that I work with those guys and can help them get to where they want to go.
What's your favorite Steely Dan song?
Probably Bad Sneakers, the song that
changed your life.
The song that changed my life. Bad Sneakers and a Pina Colada, my friend.
Do you listen to any other groups, or is it?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of music. You know, jazz, blues, soul. But their music is what taught me about other music.
Now, if someone watching right now is one of the, say, small group of people who might want to subscribe to Metal Leg, how do they do it?
Well, they could.
They have to go to your house and ask
no,
you
pretty much we advertise in like Jazz Times, Jazz's, Rolling Stone, and the address is in the magazine. And they could pretty much get it that way just by keeping their eyes open in music magazines for our ads.
It's an interesting story.
I have to know before you go, why Metal Leg? Why the title?
Well, Metal Leg, obviously,
it's bothered me all morning.
The magazine started in England by a guy named Brian Sweet, and supposedly an album they put out called Gaucho, the original name for Gaucho was supposed to be Metal Leg. This is a rumor, so we took that title and
well,
we gave it to the magazine.
if I ever meet those guys, I'm going to tell them to hire you.
Yes,
you deserve it.
Thank you very much, Bill. Nice to meet you.
We'll return right after
Thank
this.
You very much.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot.
I'm Kathleen Sullivan with an important Olympic announcement. If you love track and field, there's only one way to see every U.S. Olympic team event live with no commercials. It's the Olympics Triplecast.
In addition to NBC's coverage, you can order 3 channels of your favorite Olympic events 24 hours a day, including an unprecedented 57 hours of track and field, from the first heat to the finals.
Join me for the Olympics Triplecast. Call this number to order. It's an Olympic track and field lover's dream.
Africa, the awakening giant. In our interdependent world, the changes rippling through that continent will affect us all. You can be a part of those changes by supporting AfriCare. AfriCare is dedicated to building a new Africa. AfriCare is water projects, agricultural programs, and health services. This is Roberta Flack.
Write AfriCare, Box 26386, Washington, D.C. 20001.
Hello, I'm Barbara Bush. We all want to make our world a better place, and here's one way we can. Right now, thousands of special children in the United States are in need of permanent and loving homes. By finding room in your heart and your home for one of these special people, you can make a world of difference. Consider adoption. It works for everyone.
For more information on adoption, please call this number.
Ann Rivers Siddons was born into a world that expected her to make a career out of homemaking. But despite being a cheerleader, a homecoming queen, and voted loveliest of the plains at her Southern University, Ann broke out of the confines of ladyhood. She married late, had no children, and has made a very successful career as a writer. Her latest novel is called Colony, and she joins us today. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You really bucked the trend at the time.
I guess at the time, in the late 50s, I did.
What was the reaction of, first of all, your family? Because I'm sure this is something that your mother had imagined you to be.
Well, I think they were very indulgent about it. You know, anything you want to do. I think there was a lot of private anguish, probably, that she's going to be the town librarian or what are we going to do with her. But they never gave me any overt flack about it. It was just not what my peers had done. And I think they probably took a lot of talk around my little hometown, which is very
well,
small.
sure, because at the time that must have been difficult to do. I mean, you really were expected, and as many women did, to go home and to get married and raise the children, and that's important today.
It was important then.
And then too.
Things were beginning to change in the 50s, though. You could see that the doors were opening, even if you didn't go through them yourselves. You had the beginning of the civil rights movement. Women were beginning to move into careers, so there were lights at the end of tunnels. It wasn't that you were outcast, it's just that you paid a little price for anything you did to break the mold. Southern women have done a lot of price paying.
How does that reflect itself in your novels, this theme?
I tend to write about it over and over without really realizing I'm going to. So I'm sure it's a grain of sand stuck in my craw somewhere. Always somewhere there's a woman on her way from somewhere to somewhere else, from leaving a kind of bondage or a role she didn't need to be in or didn't want to be in, on to a fuller person. So I must not feel like I've done it yet, because I'm still writing about it.
There was something I found interesting about reading about you and learning about you, and it's that in spite of the fact that you had achieved on the surface the success of the homecoming queen and the beautiful woman, and had been raised in that way, that you had a hollow feeling inside, hollow, that led you to writing.
I think I always felt like a phony, like I was a kid in a grown-up world and they were going to find me out sooner or later. That I knew what was expected. You were supposed to be the homecoming queen, this, that, and the other, and I couldn't do that. And I did the walkthrough very well, but there was always a hole, and I didn't know what should fill it, and began to write and just found that's it. That's for me. That's the thing that I've missed, the thing that came from inside me and not outside.
What's your routine, your writing routine?
All
writers have different routines.
Yes.
You know?
I think they trick themselves into writing the best they can.
There's always a lot of
Fool the mind.
A lot of other things to do.
I'd rather wash the car any day. I have to treat it like a job. I did work in an office for a long time in advertising or as a magazine writer, so I go somewhere away from my bedroom or house, and I work from 9 to about 2. I found long ago that if I didn't do that, I was going to find myself in gin-soaked chenille at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Never get out of your robe.
Never get out. So I treat it like, and I get dressed and I go. I have a little house out behind our house that I write in, and go out there and shut the door and come out about 2 o'clock.
Tell us about Colony.
Colony is a book about a Charleston young woman at 17 marries her brother's Princeton roommate, and goes north to live with him and spends the rest of the summers of her life in an old family colony on the shores of Penobscot Bay in Maine. It's the story of her life in those summers. Very like the one my husband's family had.
I'm interested in your take on this because this is very much having to do with what you're talking about and write about is, you know, as Bill had mentioned in the open of the program, Hillary Clinton, Tipper Gore.
Tipper Gore.
You know, both, one not necessarily from the South, but part of the South
out
now.
of that ritual of rules that the South is so good at. This book is about a woman trying to find a way through all those rules to being a whole person, and it's just what these women have done.
Say with Tipper Gore, which rules do you see her kind of having followed in her life? Tipper Gore, very quickly,
I think between the two
4
of them,
children,
Tipper Gore and Hillary Clinton, she's taken a far more traditional route, and she made it work for her. I think Hillary Clinton has found her own way and carved her own route and made it work for her. There's no way in light. This is the way in the light, but you have to find your own. But I found a way that was not conventional, and I think Hillary Clinton has. And of the two, I think she's going to find it a harder row to hoe. I'm not
Hillary
sure,
or
Hillary.
Tipper?
I don't think the country is going to like that a lot, and it's too bad. I think she's almost damned no matter what she does.
Both those women represent very valid things.
Oh, yes.
One raised 4 children.
Yeah.
God bless her. What, as you know, what a job that is.
They both raised children. They maybe have come to it different ways, but they both have enormous strength, and they both found a way to make rules work for them. You either break them or you go with them. My people tend to break them.
All part of the book's Colony being the most recent, and it has been written by Ann Rivers Siddon, so we want to thank you for coming by today.
Thank you for having me.
Very nice.
I appreciate it.
And we'll be back with you coming up in just a minute.
Find out why this man has been voted Connecticut's best caterer in 90 seconds.
Coming this summer, get ready for the most extraordinary offer in television history. Now, in addition to NBC's great Olympic coverage, you can order 3 cable channels of incredible non-stop Olympic action. More tears, more glory, more excitement, 24 hours a day. All your favorite events in their entirety with absolutely no commercials. You get to watch what you want, when you want to watch it. More sports than you ever dreamed. The Olympics Triplecast. If you love the Olympics, there's only one place you can see all the drama, all the action, every winning moment. All the excitement of the '92 Summer Olympics is as close as your phone. You can't get this offer anywhere else. To order the Olympics Triplecast, call this number. Call now for information. The Olympics Triplecast. It's an Olympic lover's dream.
Cablevision, the values in the viewing.
When alcohol takes someone away and tortures them, it not only destroys them, it affects all those who love and care about them. Their children, their grandparents, and their friends.
The pain can destroy the whole family unit. So, let's draw the line. Seek help and support your local alcohol awareness organization.
And we're back. We have Brian Averna with us from Brian Averna Catering, and according to the New Haven Advocate, he is the best caterer in the New Haven area, and we're very pleased to have him with a salmon recipe today. It's nice to have you here.
Well, thank you very much.
I guess I say congratulations.
Thanks. It was a really neat
nice.
first time for us, so that was pretty cool.
Good.
Were you surprised? I wasn't. Well, actually, I was surprised. My staff said, "Oh, of course, we've been working hard enough." But I you know, if it's not yours, you don't have it.
Yeah.
So, but it's ours now,
Congratulations.
at least
That's
for the next
great.
10 months.
What's
you
that?
have salmon today, huh?
Okay, we're going to do a salmon-filled tortellini. Now, we do a lot with pasta. This pasta comes from Manchester, Carla's Pasta. And it's a really nice fresh pasta. There's salmon and ricotta cheese in there and some eggs. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make almost like a primavera, except what we're going to do with it is we're going to add tomato, and we're going to add a little absolute citron.
Oh, a little kick.
Just a little bit. Now, when I went into the liquor store, I just felt so guilty buying. I just imagined he probably thought I was going to go in my car on my lunch break, and I said, I'm really cooking with this, honest to God. But anyway,
I thought
maybe you had to go on an airplane.
That's what I was thinking. The stewardess.
I'll do anything for the show, just as you know, we have the same philosophy.
I'm here to serve.
So what we've got here, and you will be serving today, Bill. I've got a little olive oil
We'll be
in the
serving
pan
salmon.
and a little butter. Now, in order to make this happen fast, we're going to use heavy cream because heavy cream, of course, has too much fat in it, so it's going to reduce fast enough. But if you want to make this a little lighter, you could probably skip the butter, just use a safflower oil, and use milk.
Right.
But you know what? That's ridiculous.
Why not just make it easy?
Right. Now we're going to take. We have snow peas, fresh snow peas, which we're going to put in.
That's nice the way you always
Just
julienne
julienne.
them.
That's all they are. And of course, everything here is going to cook very quickly. Snow peas. Zucchini. Now, we just mix the shapes. In the old days, classical cooking, everything was the same shape, but, you really can't duplicate any vegetables to look like pasta, so...
So if you julienne, you julienne.
And if you cube, you cube.
You cube, you julienne, you julienne.
And if you whisk, you whisk.
And you'll be whisking.
I've got my whisk.
Serving and whisking is what I hear you do best. So you're going to be...
Eating is
doing
what I
that.
do best.
You eat salmon every day?
A lot. About 4 days a week, 4 or 5 days a week.
Well, you're
I
not
love
going to miss
salmon.
today.
It's wonderful.
This is just a really fresh idea. You can do this, and really, once you prepare everything, once you cut the vegetables, you're talking probably 10 minutes to cook it.
Right.
And, we're going to speed it up a little bit, but not by much. And the joy of this is, if you don't have pea pods, don't put pea pods in it. Almost everybody has
Whatever
carrots.
kind of vegetable?
Put whatever vegetables are
And
kind
now
of available.
you just go out to the garden, and whatever is, if you've got green beans, so you use the green beans. We're going to put some mushrooms in here. Now, I thought about putting some salmon, cubes of salmon, in addition to the pasta, but this is such a delicate flavor, and it's so nice. And
probably
so,
overpower it.
I didn't want to kill it, so we're not going to. But you can. You could add scallops to this, any kind of primavera. You clean out your refrigerator, basically.
Yeah, okay.
And
I have one question while you're putting this in. Tell us how you cook the pasta.
The pasta is just boiled in water.
For how long?
About 10 minutes.
Right.
Since it's a fresh pasta, it cooks a little faster than normal. However, these tortellinis are a lot bigger than what you'd normally get for
So this is already a cooked tortellini.
This is cooked.
It's cooked, and it doesn't have to be hot.
No.
It could be room temperature.
What you could do is, if you want to just boil it while you're making this, do
about
that.
the same.
And then just strain it and put it in. You don't have to rinse it. Now we're adding some tomatoes. There's a dish called mattutina. It's an Italian dish that's a slightly pink cream sauce that has vodka. So we're doing primavera, but we're also going to do as the Italians do with a little citron. Now, if you don't want to use citron, or if you don't want to use alcohol at all, you certainly don't have to.
What's the point of using the alcohol?
Just gives a little bite. It just changes the flavor a little bit. And I could have used a regular vodka, but I decided to get the citron just to give it another interesting flavor. If you don't want to use this, you can just squeeze a little lemon juice in here.
It cooks off, though, doesn't it?
The alcohol will burn
cook off.
Now, unfortunately, we have electric. I've been begging Fairfield Exchange to buy a gas
Keep
range.
begging,
It's never going to happen.
Brian.
Why is that? Well, you really prefer gas,
Just because we're going to, when we flame this, the alcohol will actually literally burn off. And when you expose this to high heat, it's going to eventually evaporate. But it just like a flash.
So you're saying there's going to be a lot of alcohol left in there?
There might be. We can talk about that. All right, so let's just put a little in there. You can hear that sizzling up. The alcohol will evaporate, and you'll get the flavor of the vodka and a little bit of the citron or the lemon and lime vodka. Can you smell it?
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to add
You are downwind over there.
a little heavy cream.
It smells like the Georgetown Saloon at about 11:30 on a Saturday morning.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Great. Appreciate that. All right, now we had some mint, and the mint fell on the floor, and rather than just put it in the bowl, I decided we're not going to use mint. But you can add a little fresh mint. Just chop it up finely, and that would be delicious. And if you prefer a thicker sauce, this is where you'd add your egg yolks to it if you'd like, but you don't have to. All right,
an egg yolk would thicken it up as opposed to a flour.
Egg yolks, well, flour, you're going to have a floury taste.
Oh, okay.
When you use an egg yolk, that's what an Alfredo sauce is. It's basically cream and egg.
Yeah, it looks wonderful.
looks
Give
good.
it a toss. Bill, you want to start on your raspberry vinaigrette dressing?
Absolutely. Where's the jar? You want me to make
I want you to make it.
Okay,
This is
fine.
incredibly fast. You don't need to get any fancy vinegars for this. You can make any flavor you've got.
All
We're
right.
going to use jam, egg yolks.
All right, you want me to put that in there?
Yeah, put it in there with your little whisk.
Okay.
Becky, if you want to keep on stirring that,
Sure.
I'll put
Well,
this is
not the
first
way
time
you do, because you
Well,
flip it
just
all
use
over.
a spoon then.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'm not good at this.
We're going to take a little raspberry preserve. And we're not going to use raspberry vinegar. We're going to use a regular white vinegar.
Okay, why that? Because you already have
Just because
enough.
it's sweet, and you don't. We're going to use a white vinegar because I think you get enough flavor from the raspberry preserve. If you want to use orange marmalade, you can. Any kind of preserve or conserve works really well with it. You're doing a great job.
That's a good idea because people have all these fancy vinegars, so you
They're
can really,
expensive.
and they're really
really
very
expensive.
expensive. So you can work around that.
Keep on doing that. What you yes, you can.
afraid you're
We're gonna make it.
dumping on
I
soup.
promise I won't get you
He's
dirty.
backing up.
We're
I've
going
ruined
to
many a tie doing cooking demos.
we're going to make an emulsion, which of course is egg and olive oil.
Right.
Very, very good. Okay. It's almost like we're making a mayonnaise. What happens is when you make the emulsion, at first you add the oil very slowly. You can put this in a blender if you want. Now, as we make the emulsion, we're going to speed it up. A little white vinegar. And it's salad dressing.
Oh, great. All right.
That's all.
While Bill is still stirring, Brian's still stirring. No? All right, we're not going to take a break. We were.
But I'm still stirring.
But you're
Keep
still
on stirring. Now that will thicken up in your blender, in your food processor, and it's delicious. And you're going to try that. Why don't you get the
Ooh.
plates ready, Beck?
Sure. Oh, you
We'll
put
give
the mint
this
on
in the
the
minutes
plate.
to cook.
Okay, as always, if you are interested in finding out more about the pasta recipe or about the raspberry vinaigrette, just send us that self-addressed stamped business-sized envelope to Exchange Recipes, 28 Cross Street, Norwalk, Connecticut, 06851, and jot down Brian Averna on the outside of the envelope, and we will get it out to you.
I'm impressed. Also, I'll take a minute while he's stirring that to let you know in tomorrow's program, by the way, I won't be here, but it's a special on the Olympics.
Yes.
And the guests include Bud Greenspan on the history of the Olympics. We are going to be discussing the use of steroids and their effect on young athletes. We'll be talking about training athletes to win, both psychologically and physically. There'll be a local soccer Olympian and a chance to win the Olympic triple cast.
Yes,
That's
I think
going
this
to
is
be
going
a
to
big,
be
big
for the
show
whole
tomorrow.
time, the full 2 weeks, which is nice. Not just a T-shirt, folks, not just one day, 2 straight weeks.
Brian, you did a good job.
Well,
This is
Bill, you
wonderful.
helped out,
Let
and
me
you
just get
helped.
this- and you-
Hey, thanks.
The answer, okay. The answer, going back to the very beginning of our program, which if you're watching this in the evening program, this is not going to make much sense. But during the day, we asked you a trivia question about Jesse Owens, and yes, he did have a ticker tape parade. Thanks
So
for
the answer
calling in.
was true, and
Was
somebody
true.
won it, and I'm going to take a bite. And
Brian, we want to thank you.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
And we'll see you all tomorrow talking the Olympics. See you then.
see you Wednesday.
Take care.
Bye-bye.